I'm Warren Pohl, one of the co-founders at 33 Shake, and welcome to another edition of the 33 Shake vlog. In today's video, we're looking at ultramarathon nutrition, what elite ultra runners eat, and what the rest of us can learn from those lessons. Damian Hall is an elite ultramarathon runner. He has a brace of Ultra Trail World Tour top 10s under his belt. And when we caught up with him recently, we took the opportunity to ask him your most pressing ultramarathon nutrition questions. So big thanks to everyone who sent those in. Now his answers were absolutely brilliant, which is why I am stoked to have them with me here now to share with you. Because at 33 Shake, our mission is delivering maximum value to endurance athletes. And we do it in these videos by sharing the best and the latest in nutrition, training, mindset and motivation, tips and tricks for your endurance performance. And we also do it in store at 33shake.com with our awesome natural sports nutrition products. So with that said, let's get into Damian's advice for ultramarathon nutrition. Now the first question was, how important is nutrition to your training and why? And Damian's answer to this, he says, ultramarathon running is often called an eating contest with a little bit of exercise thrown in. And this has largely been true in my experience. He says, I do fasted runs to encourage fat metabolism. For anyone not familiar with that, that's the idea that by running without having any food on board in advance and without taking any on board during the run, you encourage the body to use fat as fuel. A good way to do this, for example, would be to run before breakfast. And Damian then says, he says, I also experiment on longer runs with different fuel. My current favourites are salted cashews and dates. Reason he does this is to train my stomach to deal with it. This is a classic, test in training. Everyone is different. It doesn't matter what food or products are recommended. You've got to try them out for yourself and go by how you feel. But the interesting bit is Damian then says, well, the reason he does this, he says, when it comes to race day, I want my stomach to be able to cope with various options. This way, if something isn't working, I can switch. Now, this is a brilliant point, and it plays into something that we've also written about on the 33 Shake blog, the idea that in endurance events, you should treat your nutrition as a picnic. I'm not talking about getting out a hamper, a blanket, sitting down, maybe pouring some rosé. That's not that sort of picnic. But the idea that you have a variety of different fuel sources that you like, that have worked in training. And that way you're able to mix things up as you go along, because even if you have something that works amazingly for you, after 24 hours, after 10 hours, after 2 days, whatever your event is, you might just want something different. Having a brace of options available, whether it's in transition, in your drop bags, with your crew, in your pack, whatever, it just gives you that flexibility. And that's exactly what Damian's talking about there. So he says, fueling is critical when it comes to racing well. And I'm also keen to eat as healthily as possible around big training blocks to stay healthy and strong, get the adaptations and keep training hard. That is the great point there. The idea that training breaks us down, recovery is where we get stronger and fitter, and you need great nutrition to make that happen. So, your daily diet, your race nutrition, the better you can make all of those, the better you're going to adapt to your training. Exactly what Damian's doing, just at a much, much higher and more intense level. And he does add, the great thing is, when training volume is large, you burn lots of calories so you can stuff your cake hole. Those are his exact words. And this is another very, very sound way to look at this. It's great, get your diet on point, look after yourself, but make sure there's some leeway in there. If there's foods you like that maybe aren't the best things for you, well, give yourself a 5, a 10% pass, right? You want to eat that stuff, you've got to be enjoying yourself as well. You'll know when you've gone too far with it, but a little bit of what you like every now and again, particularly when you're burning it, it's not going to be the worst thing. But Damian does make the clear point. He says, remember, all calories are not equal. As in, if you're simply fueling from empty junk calories, you're not ever going to get the results that you either want or that you are capable of. So the next question that came in was, what are the key nutritional elements that you consider when preparing for a race? And Damian's checklist here of questions is absolutely brilliant. If you've got any big races coming up and you're putting together your nutrition program and you really want to get it on point, then use these questions to help you shape that plan. Okay, question 1. What is the temperature likely to be at the race? As he puts it, if it's hot, I'm going to need more salt. Remember, there's a lot of fuss around electrolytes. Electrolytes are sodium, i.e. salt, and potassium. That's it. It's nothing that crazy, special, or unique. They're available in food. They're very easy to get hold of. So, question 2. How long am I likely to race? The longer it is, the more options I'll need. That's back to the picnic strategy we were talking about earlier. And the less reliant on sugary foodstuffs I'll be. Now, Damian didn't explain exactly why he would use less sugary stuff the longer he's going, but having worked with a lot of athletes over the years, I'm going to go with a wild guess here. And that guess is that the more sweet stuff you pour in over a longer period, the more you get what we call sweeted out. You just can't take it. You need a variety, you need savoury, and Damian's very obviously looking at that. Less sweet stuff the longer the race goes. Point being that, how long are you going to be out there racing? What's at the aid stations? Always important. Racers are always going to tell you what's at the aid stations. Check the plan, find out. Can you use it? Do you use it? Do you like it? Do you want to test it? Or do you want to bring your own? Good thing to know in advance. Will I have a crew to help me? Is his next question. Because again, if you have a crew to help you, and if the rules permit assistance at certain points, then you're going to be able to have a broader or an easier spread of nutrition without carrying so much than you would if you're completely self-sufficient. Really, really love this question. What is available locally? It's a great idea having your perfect nutrition, but if you turn up to a race in another country, another town, whatever, and either the supermarket is shut or that food stuff simply isn't available, Damian says, for example, it's tricky to find chocolate milk in Chamonix. He's obviously there on an annual basis. He was 11th in the UTMB last year and has been moving up ever since. Chamonix would be a regular place for him. But what is available? Not just on the race course. What's available where you're going to be racing? What do you need to take with you? So one of the reasons that we make our pre and post workout shakes in individual packets. This means you can easily take them anywhere. Chuck them in a kit bag and you know that your perfect race day breakfast and your perfect recovery is available. Even if you have to compromise your food elsewhere, even if you're training while you're on a business trip, if you know food might be compromised, use our shakes. That way your baseline is absolutely solid and it's kept. Damian's last question. How much does stuff weigh? Bananas are great, for example, but I'm not lugging them about for hours. If you've got to carry it, weight is going to be vital. If you're doing something like the Marathon des Sables, you're clearly going to be weighing all of your kit, but be aware, what's something going to weigh? So, this is the next question, what is your pre-race, in-race and post-race nutritional strategy? Damian says that in pre-race, nothing unusual, plus I want to ensure glycogen stores are full, so some complex carbs in that crucial 36 to 24 hour pre-event window. So this is not about stuffing carbs in mindlessly, this is about eating well and making sure you've got enough carbs in there in that period until 24 hours before the event, so you start with that tank full. He then says, in a race, I try and mix sugars like gels, chews, chocolate with real food. I love salted nuts, for example, and cheese. Salted nuts are an absolute winner, in our opinion. They're the kind of thing that you're going to get some great salt out of them. It's a savoury snack because honestly, sweet stuff, it just gets mind-bendingly done. Damian adds, liquid nutrition is often a great option in the later stages of a longer ultra when it can be harder to eat. Aid station soup has got me out of a hole a few times. What he's talking about there, again, it's a guess here, but it's a pretty educated one. It's the UTMB where they have this bouillon, they call it, which is the most phenomenally salty soup. I think in daily life it would almost be undrinkable. But what it can do for you when you're absolutely knocked out, depleted of electrolytes and on your last legs is near phenomenal. So, question, another one. What is your must-have nutritional item and why? Damian says here, 33 Shake Sheer Energy Gels, they are ace. Now, he has been using these for a very long time. It's kind of, we knew him before, and ever since we started the company, Damian's really enjoyed the products. He's been great on board, and he's really seemed to enjoy having great results with them. As he says, they're really healthy, they're tasty, they're effective, I can customize them. I like them with mango juice best because you have to add water to the gel to prepare them. You do this before your race or session. Takes seconds and then they're ready for 24 hours. So you make them up in advance, use them like an ordinary gel. But you can add water. You can also mix around with the flavors. So you could add a shot of coffee as the best ever caffeine gel you've ever had. You could add coconut water for electrolytes. You add fruit juice for flavor. Mango juice is Damian's choice. As he says, they have never upset my stomach. And this is the most common cause of DNFs, as in did not finish, having to pull out, in longer ultra events. Moving on to the next question. What about times in the past when you got nutrition wrong? What have you learned? How did you suffer? How did you recover? And how did you correct it for the next time? Damian's got several classics. He says, working hard in the heat and dumping a load of sugar in really upset my stomach. It was surprisingly uncomfortable and it ruined my race. How has he learned from this? Well, he says, now I mix sugar with real food and I work on bringing my body temperature down in hot races. So whether that's soaking a bandana in water, soaking a t-shirt, chucking ice cubes down the back of your neck if they've got them at aid stations, keeping a hat on, keeping covered, getting in plenty of fluids, getting in the shade when you can if you're stopping at an aid station. Anything you can do, manage that core temperature is a big tip from him. Another time the heat caught him out, he says, I didn't have enough salt. I wasn't able to deal with debilitating cramps. Now I always carry salt tablets. You can find these pretty easily online, just regular salt caps. They don't need to be anything special. A lot of electrolyte tablets have got all manner of crap processed into them to make them fizz, to make them flavor. They might look a bit more interesting, but honestly, for the benefits of the salt you're getting, you're also having to ingest a ton of junk. You know, what makes them bright pink and fizzy, for example, that ain't natural and it's unlikely to be good for you. A standard salt tablet, literally just some salt in a tablet, is something that you can take if you find food or fluids are not helping you raise your game and you're not feeling great. Chances are it's an electrolyte issue. Take a couple of salt tabs, give it half an hour, see how you feel, add more as needed. Damian then says, it's another wonderful point this for any endurance athlete, but particularly long distance ultramarathon runners. Towards the end, 100 milers, you get so tired you can sometimes forget to eat and go into calorie deficit, becoming sluggish and demotivated. How does he deal with this? He says, now I give myself more varied options and I'm stricter with forcing myself to take on calories and practicing during training. So all in all that's a pretty simple overview. But remembering Damian's questions that he looks at for any event to work out his nutritional strategy, testing things you like in training, experimenting with different foodstuffs, really managing races in the heat, all of those things are lessons that all of us can use to make our own ultramarathon and endurance fueling much better and much more enjoyable. Now, look, hope you've enjoyed that one. Thanks very much for tuning in. Please send us your comments, your questions, your feedback, anything. You can get in touch with us via social media or on email. All of our links are in the show notes below. And if you are looking for the very best in endurance nutrition for your own running, triathlon or cycling performance, why not check us out at 33shape.com. You'll even find Damian's very favourite Cheer Energy gels right there.